We were there in 1908 when Eastern Suburbs charged to victory in our very first game. We were there 3 years later to see Dally Messenger's Dynamos claim the first hat-trick of premierships. We were there in 35 when the legendary Dave Brown steered us to another 3 straight titles. We stuck solid through the hard times like 66 when we didn't win a single game. We were there in the 70s when Artie's Invincibles reigned supreme.
Beaton and Mullins for the line. Mullins will score.
Hooper, a clean break. The ball is coming. Minicello is haring away. Minicello, he will score.
To most of us, it's beyond challenge as the greatest city in the world and home to the greatest football club on the planet.
It could be a try. Good is over.
They're on the march to the minor premiership. The champions are the Sydney Roosters.
From humble beginnings as a penal colony, the city of Sydney rapidly developed into a thriving metropolis. It was the birthplace of our nation's federation in 1901. And 7 years later, Sydney's favourite winter pastime was born. Eastern Suburbs were at the forefront of this bold new code. They were one of the first members of the New South Wales Rugby League, founded at Paddington Town Hall on January 24, 1908. Crucial to the success of not just this new club, but the sport itself, was a man whose name is still revered a century later, Herbert Henry Messenger, better known simply as Dally.
Well, Dally Messenger was the rugby league itself, the best ever, and that still sticks in today.
Dally Messenger, he was the only person that I know of in rugby league where they changed the rules because of things he used to do.
Wentworth Park was the venue for Eastern Suburbs' historic maiden game. And even without Messenger in the side, they were still too strong for Newtown, 32-16. The Tricolours were beaten just once during the regular season, but in a situation that would seem farcical these days, they saw 6 of their best players, including Messenger, set sail for the Kangaroo Tour of England on the day that the 1908 finals began. One can only wonder what might have been, as they lost the first premiership decider by just 2 points to South Sydney at the Sydney Showground. Under Dally M's direction, they eventually took their maiden title in 1911 by edging out Glebe in the grand final. It was also in that year that Easts adopted the Sydney Sports Ground as their home, a base that would serve them well for the better part of the next 75 years.
Sydney Sports Ground was the Eastern Suburbs paddock, that was ours. And I believe that the Eastern Suburbs played 5 or 6 points better there than anywhere else.
We always relished when we got drawn to play at the sports ground.
As rugby league continued to grow in popularity and strength, so did the Tricolours. A change to the competition format in 1912 gave the premiership to the team that finished first, and Easts lost just once all year. It was a similar story 12 months later, when they completed a hat-trick of titles after having their colours lowered just twice. It was the perfect way for Dally Messenger to hang up his golden boots. But it was to be another decade before East would reach the summit once more. In between came the devastation of World War I, and instead of playing football, young Australians went off to defend the empire. After the end of the conflict in 1918, life gradually returned to normal. And 5 years later, Eastern Suburbs added their 4th title when they denied Souths in a thrilling decider. The rest of the decade brought lean pickings, but another golden era was just around the corner for the boys from Bondi. times were tough in the first half of the 1930s as the Depression hit hard. Out of those dark, difficult days emerged one of rugby league's greatest ever club sides.
Well, Eastern Suburbs in the 30s were thought of as the best rugby league team East have had. They were the only team in the comp as far as we were concerned, and I was just dying with the day that I might be able to get in the side.
1935 was arguably the most successful season in the club's proud history. The Tricolours were club champions, reserve grade winners and first grade premiers in comprehensive fashion. They were beaten just once in that campaign, during which they inflicted an 87-7 massacre on competition newcomers Canterbury, which still stands today as the Roosters' biggest ever victory. Incredibly, 45 of those points came from one man, Dave Brown.
Dave Brown was, in my eyes, the most brilliant player. He was the Gasnier of the 30s, and he stands very high in the eyes of all rugby league players as one of the greatest.
The freakish centre evoked memories of Dally M with his match-winning talents.
Yeah, it's quite incredible, but, you know, we all knew of Dave Brown. Dave Brown was, I still look at all of his record.
With Brown at the height of his powers, East remained unbeaten in the premiership for the next 2 seasons to earn their second hat-trick.
The 34, 1935 and 1936 sides just swamped the opposition. It was a massacre. They were the greatest rugby league side you've ever seen in your life.
They were far from being a one-man band, though.
Of course, he had great support with Ernie Norman and Jack Beaton.
Viv Thickness, Ray Steer, Harry Pearce, Joe Pearce. They were legends. Fantastic footballers.
The Golden Run came to a halt in 1938 when they were outplayed by Canterbury in the final, and a year later the world was again plunged into war. While bloody battles raged on faraway shores, East extracted revenge by downing the Blue and Whites 24-14 to earn the mantle of 1940 premiers, even without the injured Dave Brown. On the same day that the Japanese formally surrendered to the Allies in '45, Eastern Suburbs produced one of their most remarkable premiership triumphs. Dick Dunn etched his name into league folklore by scoring all bar 3 of East's points in a 22-18 win over Balmain. Alas, it was to be East's last hurrah for nearly 3 decades. The Tricolours were to reach the semi-finals just once in the next 15 years.
Eastern Suburbs during the 50s and 60s had a very, very hard time. South, St George, Canterbury, Parramatta, they were terrific. In those days, there wasn't such a thing as an easy game.
In 1960, Eastern Suburbs returned to the grand final for the first time since 1945. However, the gallant Easterners were steamrolled in the decider by a St George side that made it a record 6 straight crowns. Reaching the grand final was simply the start of an amazing roller coaster ride that Eastern Suburbs would undergo in the next 2 decades. Eastern Suburbs slumped to its lowest ebb in 1966, when first grade failed to win a single game. For a club with such a proud history of success, such an embarrassment was hard to take. Much better things were happening off the field, however, with the opening of the Eastern Suburbs Leagues Club at Bondi Junction, which would play a vital role in reversing on-field fortunes in the years ahead. It was soon after that the famed rooster was also officially adopted as the club's logo, to represent the rising of the sun in the east. At the same time, East were rising back to the top under a rookie coach called Jack Gibson.
I put in for the job in '66, but they had an Englishman there that played with them the previous year, and they made, well, I think he did, but they made him coach in '66, a gent called Bert Holcroft. Well, they didn't have much luck that year. I don't know if and they didn't win a game. So the following year I put in for the job again, and there wasn't that many applicants.
Jack Gibson probably changed coaching a fair bit. He was the modern day guru, so to speak, in those days. But a lot of the things that he did back in the 70s, they're starting to do now.
His impact was immediate, taking the team from easy beats to finalists in the space of 12 months. With the addition of stars like Arthur Beetson, Ron Coote and Jim Morgan, the Roosters again became a title contender. And with Don Furner in charge, they reached the grand final of 1972, only to suffer a controversial 5-point loss to Manly.
And he's made no mistake about that.
In the 72 grand final, it was really disappointing because it was a close game. We never got the rub of the green. I thought that we scored a couple of tries, and had we had the aid of the video replay, I think that probably we would have won that game.
That was a good move. Out to Junee. Here's Coote for the corner. It could be a try. Coote is over. No try. Bounced the ball.
I definitely thought that we were robbed. We was robbed.
Beetson. And Mullins. Mullins for the line. Mullins will score.
Before too long, though, there could be no doubt about the club's claim to greatness. Jack Gibson returned to the helm in 74 and forged one of the most dominant outfits in league's modern era.
The evasive Fairfax sends Beetson crashing over for the first try.
A 29-year premiership drought came to a glorious end on September 21, when Eastern Suburbs outplayed Canterbury 19-4.
East leading 7 points to 4 and about 15 minutes to go.
Well, East by no means unassailable at this stage, and Canterbury so close to a premiership win. They've only got to score a try and they're out there in front, so they've just got to keep going, and their coach Malcolm Cliff said that's exactly what they'll do when we spoke to him earlier this week.
The Roosters led by just 3 points at half-time, but didn't concede a point in the second term.
I've heard of an armchair ride before, but not in that direction. Beetson. This is Mackay. Fairfax. Riley. Caught by Lockwood. Jones. Walters. Peard. Beetson. Coote. Coote stepping out of tackles. Has Mullins with him. There's Harris. Harris hard. Harris for the line. Harris is in. A try. Well, that was a real grand final try. It had determination written all over it. The scorer was Mark Harris, and it's 10 points to 4. We'll see the try in action replay.
Well, all started out with a switch-in play, a fellow coming in on the inside and taking the switch, and then Coote, as he always does, looms up on the outside and the blind side, and then we saw the power of Mark Harris. What a strong fellow this is. He's got strong legs. He just kicked out of one tackle, kicked out of another tackle, and kept on with the work.
And it does appear as though Harris was caught there, but he struggled out of the tackles. John Peard attempting the conversion. He's got it too. What a lovely kick from John Peard. And East away to a very valuable lead now, 12 points to 4, and only about 11 minutes to go in this grand final. East, though, in possession just outside their own quarter line. Mays has it. Bandera. Walters to Beetson. Good run by the captain on to Fairfax. Fairfax has the cover defence across, and that's Mullins. Mullins going hard downfield, bumped into touch. John Peake and Gary Dowling, the two defenders, to put a stop to that fine run by Bill Mullins.
Well, that's the Beetson we know that broke the line of defence, but it's good work by Fairfax. He just waited until he had the opposition thinking that he's going to bring the winger Mullins in, but he held the pass and sent Mullins out, which is good.
John Peard kicking from 25 metres out, lines it up nicely, the breeze takes it straight through. What a lovely kick. East 14, Canterbury 4. John Peard now 2 goals from 2 attempts. Bandera, Peard. Looking for the line, which he might find. He does. Great kick from John Peard. Only about 4 metres away from Canterbury's goal line, and this is going to put intense pressure now on that Canterbury defence to prevent a third Eastern Suburbs try before full time. Restart. Kick goes back to Fairfax. Has Bandera with him. There'll be a penalty there. John Peard attempting his third shot for goal, and he's got that one off the boot delightfully too. What a magnificent kick. Well, it's very hard not to continually praise these kicks, but there have been 3 tremendous ones by John Peard. Walters looking to get back possession, and he's being allowed to play it. Bandera, Peard, Mays, Riley, Mullins. Only half a minute to go, and Easts are leading by 16 points to 4. Mays down to the quarter line. Out to Coote. Harris almost through, got it to Fairfax, who couldn't keep it. He's been allowed to. It looked as though it was a knock-on. Referee Breer says it wasn't. Fairfax playing the ball now to Coote. Walters, Peard. That's Porter. Jim Porter on his way, looking for support. Floats it to Bill Mullins, who'll crash over. And that's Eastern Suburbs' third try, right in the dying moments of the game. It was scored by Bill Mullins, going over in the corner. And we'll see that try again in action replay. The full-time siren has gone.
What a fitting climax to this great Eastern Suburbs victory. Jim Porter wandering infield like he's done on so many occasions. He took the ball on the burst, and he found his partner Mullins on the outside, who finished it off with a great finishing touch.
Bill Mullins has done so much to contribute to East's performance this year. He scored quite a number of tries, and that was a fitting climax to the season for him. And East captain Arthur Beetson being congratulated by his teammates. John Peard for the record books after the final 2 points, and he's missed them, kicking it well out to the left. And so the final score for the 1974 Premiership, Eastern Suburbs defeating Canterbury by 19 points to 4. The scorers for East, tries by Beetson, Harris and Mullins, and Brass kicked 2 goals and Peard 3.
It was really a great year, but we did have a great side, and there's a fair bit of contention about which was the better side, the 74 or the 75 side.
Now Sherbert goes for it, takes it beautifully under pressure and runs away. And loaded the bastard, Pickett will score.
The following season, East were even more dominant and registered a competition record of 19 straight victories that still holds today.
At one stage there, the Bulldogs looked like breaking it until they broke their salary cap.
Ferguson, good one, little kick over the top, he's found the gap. He's got the ball, no! He and Schubert came together with a hell of a crunch.
Eastern Suburbs then left no doubt about their supremacy in demolishing St George by the incomprehensible grand final score of 38-0, toting 7 tries in a blistering second half display.
Still going, got it to Mays. Mays is in the clear, he's going to score. A great run from Pickett and good backing up from Johnny Mays, and that came from nothing. Beetson runs the blind side. Beautiful pass to Brass. Brass on to Coote. Coote's run wide. Nicely tackled by Mills right around the ankles. Last tackle. Brass fires it away to Peard. Peard will put the kick up. He's got that one nicely into the air. It's going to be a pressure kick. Has fallen for Eastern Suburbs with 6 to go. Stevens floats a long one to Brass, who half volleys it nicely, flicks it to Beatson. Beatson holds his arms up, dummies, runs, still running. A great run by the big fella. St George defence looking a little bit threadbare at the moment. Mackay runs from dummy half. He's in. Underneath the post. Walters runs from dummy half. Tackle, I would suggest, 8 inches short. Mays, Beatson, Mackay. Langman's directing traffic there as Stevens gets it to Beatson. Beatson's dropped it. Well, I thought he bounced that. St Laurent Mears is awarded a try. Beatson. Coote right through. Got a pass on to Brass, and Brass is in for the try. Oh, so easy. Oh, so easy. Around about the middle of the field and the quarter line area. Bailey. It's got that one high in the air. They're coming through on it now. Sherbert goes for it. Takes it beautifully under pressure and runs away. Unloaded the pass to Pickett. Pickett will score. Put your glasses down. Langlands can't run. Well, Schubert's brought the house down with that one. That was a superb bit of football. Another Eastern Suburbs scrum win. Stevens. Schubert again. Got a pass away to Mullins. Big Bill Mullins is going. His lovely tackle there from Roy Ferguson, who has done some tackling today. Stevens. Peared. On a Reinberger, then to Schubert. Schubert goes within 6 feet of scoring. It's only a matter of seconds as Stevens goes too. Puts his head down and charges for the line. Walters. Mays. Mays sights the opening and he's through with the greatest of ease.
There's a replacement coming on now for Graham Langlands, Rex. Looks like Robert Finch.
Oh, and I'm sorry I've missed it, but there was an intercept taken by Johnny Brass while we were watching Langlands come off the field. Bunny Riley hobbling from dummy half, makes a gain of about 8 metres. Lindsay Drake down, sitting on the halfway line. Stevens, Mackay, Schubert, Smith. Oh dear. Well, I don't know. Eastern Suburbs have said, we're going to rub your noses into the dirt, and they've continued to do it throughout the game. And they've taken 2 of their best players off, Beatson and Coote. I can't recollect a grand final in my time that's been such a humiliation for any club. And there are a number of St George players who should indeed hang their heads in shame for their defensive faults in this second half. Peard has kicked it. And that's the full-time hooter. The crowd respond to Eastern Suburbs. St George hasten to rush up and congratulate them, as indeed they should. It's been a memorable performance by the Roosters.
We had the ability on the board to blow anyone away, and it was just another great moment, and I don't think that score's been surpassed.
In the wake of 2 remarkable winters, the Roosters were hot property. And in 1976, they became the first rugby league club to carry a sponsor's name on the jersey in the guise of City Ford. Despite being denied another hat-trick of premierships, the decade delivered plenty of other silverware, including the inaugural World Club Challenge in 1976, where they outgunned English champs St Helens.
The clock showing 3 minutes to go. It's with Beatson. And Fairfax chips over the head. He'll score. Yes, Fairfax.
There were also 2 Amco Cup midweek competitions won during the 70s, not to mention a couple of pre-season trophies, with the one in 1977 coming before an audience that included Queen Elizabeth II. That victory made it a wonderful start to Bobby Fulton's time at Bondi, after the Manly great was lured across the harbour. Upon his retirement in 1979, Fulton assumed the coaching reins and steered Easts to back-to-back minor premierships. There were times when Bozo's star-studded side looked like world beaters, such as the preliminary final of 1980, when they slaughtered Western Suburbs.
Switch of play again. Ayliffe, beautiful pass to O'Reilly's in! That's a try and a good one. Lovely work by Ayliffe there to get a pass away as he was falling. O'Reilly stumbled and fell, but really went over without an opponent hanging on to him. Tobin probing on the inside there with Ayliffe always ready to change the direction of play. Right. Using his feet. Got himself into the clear, going nicely as he tries the big step off the right foot. Slips. Easy meet there for Wayne Smith. Lang from dummy half. Back inside. Tobin. Ayliffe. He'll swivel now. Got a beautiful pass. It's a try. Put down the glasses. And Big Cleel's in. They're doing it easy at the moment, Eastern Suburbs. And Ayliffe involved up to his ears in this game. Alan Neal breaks the defence, gets it to Lease. Lease unloads to Boland. Boland leaves it behind. It's picked up out there by Cleel. It's a let-off for Eastern Suburbs. Boland, normally a very solid handler, but the pass came to him high and slightly behind his head. McFarlane stood in the tackle. Hastings, here's an overlap if they use it. Eastern Suburbs got miles of room here at the moment. Warneke goes on his own, gets a pass back inside. Gets in for the try. It's under the posts. Oh, they're doing it so easy. You can see it open up like a yawning chasm. And Western Suburbs defence in total disarray. See it again. Involved in the penalty if he doesn't get off. Lang. Hastings. Right. Long floating pass. Nicely out the post end. Posted away to McFarlane up the sideline. Could be a try. It is. Easy meat. A positive embarrassment. McFarlane. So easy. 1 minute and 32 seconds in the start of the second half. Answers the referee. Way to Harvey. Harvey out to Gurr. Gurr running nicely. Pass back inside the Tobin. Tobin shuffles it. And it's another try to Eastern Suburbs. They're killing him. Bobby Fulton really got a ton of options over to him at the moment with this lead. Harvey. That could have been a penalty to Western Suburbs, a bit of shepherding, but they've opened them up. Warneke showing great pace. He's going to be picked up by Lease, I think, and he's got a sprint going here. Oh, no, he's not. Lease has given it up. And there's Warneke with a sprint of something like what he's turned on a somersault. He's run, what, 75 metres and scored a spectacular try. Lang. Hastings says for good measure they'll have a look at field goal, does it? So easy. Now, they're very deep, these backs. Let's see them. Right. Oh, he's right through. Gone for the big dummy and just carved them right up. That was what you call instant acceleration. And West really on the rack now. They're being humiliated. And Kenny Wright really set himself to do that. There was nothing else in his mind except, I'm going to have a go. He goes left foot punt. Takes the play up to the quarter line. We're in the last 5 minutes now, about 4.5 to go. Unofficial time. Now let's see, East have got a set piece move to go. Hastings, he's going to go through and score a try. Well, that's sick. But I say West haven't packed it in. That is awful. Well, I see McLeod patting one of his players on the back there and consoling him, but, you know, really, they should be kicking some of them in the tail. Look at this.
And so the boys from Bondi were grand final bound once more. But just 7 days later, they weren't able to replicate that magic. The Royce Ayliffe-led Roosters were subdued 18-4 by Canterbury, who produced the most remarkable try ever witnessed in grand final football.
Graham Hughes, Bretnell injects himself, the kick and chase situation. It's Gearan. Oh, he's taken on the full. It's a try, and it's a magnificent one.
But when you talk about incredible tries, they don't come any better than this Bobby Dazzler that East came up with at the Sydney Sports Ground in 1982.
This is Warnocky now on there to Hastings. Hastings, he doesn't know where to go, but he's found support in Barkley. Links up with Harvey. Oh, brilliantly picked up on there to Horry.
It was hot potato stuff as the home side smashed eventual grand finalists Manly by 40 points to 2.
6 to go. They probably won't need it though. As Rocky Laurie sends Ian Schubert in for a magic Eastern Suburbs try.
As Australia celebrated its bicentenary in 1988, Eastern Suburbs found a new place to roost. The 40,000-seat Sydney Football Stadium was light years away from the old sports ground. A period of dramatic change for the club and the code began at the end of '94, with the decision to become known as the Sydney City Roosters, in an effort to broaden the club's appeal. Then came the coup of luring dual premiership-winning coach Phil Gould for what turned out to be the code's most turbulent season.
Peter Jorgensen, he'll score in the corner.
The Super League war threatened to tear the game apart, but the Roosters stuck solid with the establishment and reaped a magnificent reward.
Floats it out for Brad Fittler.
A young Penrith star by the name of Brad Fittler headed east in '96 and made an instant impression, scoring in his Rooster debut.
Fittler gets behind them and away from them. The Australian captain scores in his first match for his new club.
With Freddie firing, the club reached the finals for the first time in 9 years.
Fittler! He scores!
It was the beginning of a long run for the club as playoff qualifiers.
Lamb, Goulet.
There were some wonderful moments along the way, like this remarkable extra-time defeat of Norths in '97.
Lamb on 5. Fittler puts Walker across. Walker's going to make it. Walker's over. Oh, what a pressure kick this will be. He didn't really know where he was going to play next weekend. The kick is looking okay. The flags are up. It's level. 14-all. 14 points all. I think they want to go for it early again. It's gone back for Taylor on the fourth tackle. Gets his kick in. The touchy doesn't move. The arm goes up and the Bears are back in front. 15 out from the line. Nathan Wood back on the inside for Singh. Singh away for Lamb. Lamb for Ricketson. Ricketson away for Fittler. Fittler then for Barnhill. They're going backwards. Goulet. Fittler again. Shaped a kick and then passed. Barnhill for Walker. Where are we? The Kingdome or somewhere?
Fittler will have a go here, I reckon.
Now, Adrian Lamb gets a kick away. The hand goes up. It's 15-all. It is 15-all. The hand has gone up. I can't believe it.
And that's full time.
Adrian Lamb out of a mud patch from dummy half. 3 metres away. 15 points all. First half of extra time. And here's a try. That's Garland. For 40 minutes. Now, Sydney City with a big break. It's Elsgood. Stayed in the field of play. A quick spread to the right. Lamb, Walker, and away from Gaffey. They're going to go in again. Cleary scores. Just a matter of 25 seconds away. Reba, he's lost it. Ricketson too tired to run. Fittler almost the same. And the middle legs of Adrian Lamb are try line bound. He's over. Adrian Lamb is over. Third try for Sydney City in extra time. Fittler has sensed that. He bullets a pass across. Goulet for Singh. Here's a try. Yes, Barnett. He's gone in the corner.
And 12 months later, the Tricolours came from 15-0 down in a sensational semi-final to beat Newcastle on their own turf.
The cross for Lamb. Lamb to Gaffey. Gaffey for Singh. Singh gets away. Singh's inside the 10. They're going to do it. They've done it again. They're over. That's Ricketson. Bonetti. Fittler to the air. It's high. It's well placed. Here comes the jump. And Matt Singh. Matt Singh. He's got a clean catch. He's put it down. Kelvin Jeffs will call for the video.
And you would imagine the only thing he could call for is whether Matt Singh is offside.
I'm happy with the contesting of the football.
Yeah, the referee's got no drama with the jump. He's a mile onside. He's 8 metres onside. It come up pretty much uncontested.
Oh, hang on a moment. Hang on a moment.
The disco is fast dancing.
He's obviously hit the wrong button, has he? Fittler and Lamb getting ready. Lamb running a blind side. Fittler coming back to the open. It all went wrong. It was picked up and fed away to Junie. Junie will score. Junie's over. Sydney are in front. Here's another break by Sydney and another try. Nat Wood is over. Nat Wood, he's had a tremendous game and the bench goes up.
But the best was yet to come. Now known as the Sydney Roosters for the 2000 season, they replicated that spirit in a pulsating preliminary final against the Knights.
Minicello's there for the bounce. Minicello gets the ball inside and away goes Phillips. Phillips is over.
After trailing 16-2 at the break, Graham Murray's men found something special and stormed into the club's first grand final for 20 years.
Oh, intercepted! And it is Brad. He's away inside the 10. He's there. Try for Brad Fittler. Fittler intercepts. And the Roosters are back. 16-14. The Novocastrians are in front, but shakily. They're rocking and rolling. Solomona, the ball is out to Minicello. Minicello's got McDougall to beat. Here comes Ryan Cross. He draws the fullback. Cross is away. And Cross, at long last, will get a try. 3 tries in about 3 minutes.
Well, Andrew Voss, in the first half, we heard plenty of chants of Newcastle. The Roosters crowd making plenty of noise.
They're outside him again, Peter. It's Matt Singh down the left flank. Turns it in. Hegarty. He's there. Another try.
Well, Brad Fittler is now picking them to pieces.
26-20. The final seconds of the game. Graham Murray. Hegarty.
One good kick. Get it out over the sideline. Well done. Raise your hands in the air.
You are going to the grand final.
Well, the semi-final where we beat Newcastle at Sydney Footy Stadium was an amazing game. Well behind going into half-time, and from then on I think we ended up putting 20 on them in the second half and never felt like we were going to get beat. Just felt really comfortable, and you could just see in the eyes of everyone that we're going to win the game.
The Sydney Roosters are into the grand final. Lamb, jinx. Now Hegarty! He's over the line, but
The decider against Brisbane wasn't a performance to cherish.
Broncos are the premiers of the year 2000.
And it was a sad farewell for the gifted halfback Adrian Lamb. But the experience gained that day proved invaluable 2 years later.
Mate, that is the greatest thing you can ever do. Oh, I love everyone for making me feel this good.
Freddie's emotion encapsulated just how every red, white and bluester felt on the evening of October 6, 2002.
Now for Jones.
After 27 years, the premiership drought was finally over, swept away in a blinding finish against the New Zealand Warriors.
Now, a barnstorming, block-busting run by Fittler. 32 metres out from the line. Minicello got a quick play the ball. Fletcher got in and away. Mullins goes for the accelerator. Mullins gets the ball inside. Shannon Hegarty. Hegarty will score. First points of the grand final. Scored by Shannon Hegarty off the back of a tremendous run by the captain.
It's been a while coming. The Roosters look like they might have scored from close range, but they've done it from the other end of the field.
Yes, the New Zealand defence never readjusted after that banana kick. Never got there in time, and miles of room down the short side. And this man, he's had a great season. Wonderful footwork and fending. Holds Murphy at bay, waits for the support to come. And Shannon Haggerty has had a great opening 25 minutes of this first half. He's been in everything.
Basically the message, up the tempo in the second half, quicker play the balls. And from Daniel Anderson, it was a bit like his half-time address last week against the Sharks. Just a little more composure. We play out the 80 minutes. We're good enough. We can win this grand final.
Marsh combining with Jones after CUC. You gave them an opportunity. Here's Jones in his space. Jones is inside the 10. Jones scores. New Zealand are level. New Zealand are level. Either somebody's done some improving or the other one has gone backwards. And we can't say that about the Roosters because their form has been impeccable over the last couple of months.
40-20 here, Ray.
Beautiful kick.
Yeah, this might be the match turner.
Crocker again. Fittler goes from the left side, works over to the right side. Here's Craig Wing, and Craig Wing is in to score. Well, Brad Fittler knew that it was time to stand tall, and he has come from the left to the right and combined with his number 7.
And it's on the back of a 40-20 from Brad Fittler.
Straight up the middle. Plays it back for Crocker again, and this time to the boot of Brad. Oh! Fittler. Oh! He's been taken a couple of times. Fittler's bleeding from a gash above the left eye.
He has been hammered by Corpu. He feigned a kick and then was hit.
Well, it just looked like he deliberately headbutted him. Fittler is that player with the head bandage on now. There's Jones. Oh, Villasanti! Really shook up by Morley.
Can't pop the pass. Yes, he can now to Minicello.
Minicello going across. Ran round behind Fitzgibbon, looking for his winger on the far side. Play back for Shannon Haggerty. There's a chance for Fitzgibbon. Fitzgibbon must be horribly close. 8 points in the game for Craig Fitzgibbon. He goes searching for 10, and it is okay. Flags are up again for Fitzgibbon. Just inside the 10-metre line. Mullins for Fittler, and Fittler puts a kick in. He had to hurry it. Flannery scores. Flannery dives on the loose ball.
He's under pressure here, Fittler. He just gets one away, and the Warriors didn't cover this at all. Cleary was coming across, but nobody was coming back. Ricky Stewart, as Andrew Voss pointed out, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and good on him.
Phillips and Bonetti fighting for dummy half. Bonetti to Flannery. Flannery to Ricketson. Ricketson to Fletcher. Fletcher puts the arm up and he goes over. Fletcher scores. Now it's one-way traffic. The Roosters are now dominating the Warriors at the back end of the grand final.
The Roosters, well, they're running on pure adrenaline now.
Fittler up the other end of the ground is saluting to the band of Roosters supporters nestled away at the northeastern corner. Fitzgibbon tries to keep his record intact, and he does. Fans, they realise that it's over. They count down the time. The grand final of 2002 is over.
Mate, that is the greatest thing you can ever do. Oh, I love everyone for making me feel this good. This is beautiful. Everyone who loves footy, everyone who follows footy, you made this moment so good for us. We've worked so hard, and that's what it all comes down to, man.
Looking at grand finals since I was old enough to watch TV, and you know, I was Marooster through and through, and you know, I couldn't have dreamt of anything as big as this. I'm over the moon.
You can wait your whole life for something like this, and I'll tell you, unless you do it, you wouldn't be a million miles close to how good this feels. All the supporters of Rugby League, you've made this possible for our boys on today, on this occasion, to feel that happy. And I thank you so much for that. To all the coach, Ricky Stewart, you did a fantastic job with your help. All the trainers, with Dino Cardi, and Gus, Nick Politis. If I could dedicate this game to anyone, I'd dedicate to Nick. He's been the the backbone for this club for 20-something years. So thanks a lot, Nick. To our boys, I love yous. Yous are unreal. I'll remember you to the rest of my life. And to my fiancée Marie, I love you too.
Brad Fittler, still
Brad Fittler, ladies and gentlemen,
full of emotion. The Sydney Roosters have won their 12th premiership.
Triumphs like this one serve notice that a return to rugby league's apex is only a matter of time, and that the renowned Rooster spirit is well and truly alive. It's a flame that will surely burn brightly for another 100 years and beyond.
Champions are the Sydney Roosters.